What is going on, everybody? You're gonna be watching Roid Sage once again on this live. What I do, and Adam should be joining us here very soon, is go through as many questions as I can that you guys ask directly one-on-one and try to be as clear as possible with giving you answers regarding steroids, fitness, life. I don't know. I guess at this point we kind of just fucking talk about whatever for a long time. Last time we talked, it was almost 2 hours long of just everything. So happy to have you guys on here. If you need anything as far as questions answered, let me know, and I'm happy to help out. What's up, Todd? It's crazy. Crazy. Actually, Todd, if you want to join, you're more than welcome to. I'll send you an invite via WhatsApp if you want to pop on here. It gets pretty hectic, but that's fine. Cool. Done. Okay. I sent you a link on WhatsApp, Todd, so if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to. No pressure, bro. You can just be a viewer too. That's fine. So I don't know if you guys saw, but Greg Doucette made a video. Oh shit, Todd's already here. Look at you, Todd. What's your shirt say?
Oh, it says, let's see, an arrow may have your name on it, but a fireball is addressed to whom it may concern.
Very interesting.
It's got a wizard throwing a fireball.
Yeah, I get the insinuation.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. So I was...
Greg made on me?
No, I wanted to. I've been watching your videos because you're doing like a mini series about Jeff Nippard and what do you call it? Fuckface. Oh.
What do you think about that?
I mean, obviously you should hit people that are half your size. I make sure to go to the gym and beat women all the time. You know, like, why would you stop? It's like,
oh,
you know, there's any people who won't know that sarcasm. I'm fucked. I know. It's like Todd Lee confesses to domestic violence. I was like, it's only domestic violence if you fuck them. But
oh, that's crazy.
Right now I'm having my cheat meal after it's one rice cake with almond butter on it.
What's going on? Why only that?
Because I'm trying to get less fat. It's like I don't know what the fuck happened. At Friday at the Olympia, I looked fine. By the time I got home, like a week, you know, it's been like, what, a week? Yeah. It's been a week or 2 weeks? It's been 1 week, right?
Yeah.
No, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been about a week, dude. It's been like a little over a week. Well, yeah, I guess 2 weeks now, actually.
Yeah, for some reason, my check-in pictures, I look fat as fuck today. I don't know what's going on.
Are you sick?
I had food poisoning at the Olympia. I just didn't tell anyone because I didn't want, because if someone tells me they have food poisoning, I don't want to go anywhere near them because I'm assuming they're going to smell. So I didn't tell anyone, but I was sitting there with food poisoning.
Oh, shit.
Like when I approached Kurt and I was like, I said what I said, I was just like, inside, I was like, I really don't want to do this because I don't know what's going to happen if he kicks me in the stomach.
I could projectile vomit on him if anything actually.
Yeah. Do you remember Deadpool 2?
Yeah.
That would have been what had happened. Like with me getting punched in the stomach would have been like me, that dude in the tomahawk chipper shredder. Only my stomach isn't that acidic. So I use 13 grams, so you can see my setup. I use 13 grams of almond butter. So that's exactly, let's see, because 32 is 17. So this should be about 7 grams of fat. So this is great.
I love you, Todd. You never get.
It's a caramel rice cake too, so you know I'm a hedonistic turd.
That's a whole extra 15 calories, man. You better slow down.
It's 3 fucking carbs, man. 3 fucking carbs extra.
We got Benicio, I think is his name. As a natural power lifter. Oh, here's Adam too. Hey, Adam.
What's up, Hyperdrive?
How are you?
You're super quiet, Adam.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You guys hear me now?
Mhm.
I don't think it's even connected to your mic, I'll be honest.
I'm going to go upstairs and use my computer in a minute, but I wanted to get on while I had the chance.
No, I appreciate you doing that. It's awesome. We're going to get bombarded with ridiculous questions, I promise you.
Like, would you rather fight one Mike Van Wyck with a baseball bat or 100 Jeff Nippards with claws?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Honestly, I feel like Jeff could be a little bit agile. You know what I'm saying? Like when he fell down on his back, he got up pretty quick. I don't think Nick could get up that quick. I really don't.
I mean, he's taller than me, so he could probably beat me up. But it's still a funny joke because everyone thinks he's super small. It's like he's benching a lot of weight, man.
I mean, he's pretty small. People don't like it, but he's pretty small.
I'm 1 inch shorter, and I think I'm 40 pounds heavier than he is. 45 pounds heavier.
Jesus Christ. That's wild. Benicio says, as a natural powerlifter, what do you think a good deadlift to squat ratio would be? My max deadlift is 445 and my max squat is 347. Would you say that's a good ratio? To be honest, I have no idea.
Depends on your arm length.
Yeah. It's super dependent on like your anatomy, bro. It's like I can deadlift way more than I can squat, so it's
not me.
Yeah,
really.
Powerlifting want the heaviest shit possible. So whatever you can do, dude.
Yeah, I get my 5 rep max for deadlift is like 425 in 2017, but my 8 rep squat max was 500. So I can squat almost 100 pounds, almost 100 pounds more than my deadlift for more reps.
Jesus. That's actually nuts.
Shit, dude.
Manny Masso is 19-inch arms at 320 pounds. Not impressive. 6'1". I mean,
no.
No. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not good either, right?
I've got 18.75 inch arms, and I'm 5'4", and I'm 220 pounds. And people laugh at me about how I have small arms. So,
have you measured your arms, Adam?
Not in a while. I think they were last time around 20 inches, I want to say. I hope.
I have no idea what mine are. It's probably that's the whole point of Greg's video is to tell me that I had small arms. So.
And you didn't even measure, because that would be the whole point. But like it's just funny because Greg Doucette's what 5'7", 160 pounds.
Yeah.
So your arms are probably bigger than his.
Right, like statistically speaking. My point, like I made this whole point in Jeff's. I made a video about Jeff Nippard. And I talked about how he's natural and not using steroids. And people are just delusional because he literally only weighs, like on his competition day, he weighed 140 pounds. You know, shredded.
140?
Yeah.
Oh shit, he is smaller than me because I haven't weighed 140 in like 15 years on stage.
Yeah, dude, he's tiny. People are like, oh, he's fucking on gear. I'm like, dude, he would be way bigger. And anyways, in the video, I talked about how my arms are smaller because I'm taller, and it's much harder to accumulate mass on my limbs than it is like a shorter guy. And he's like, no, his arms are just small. He's not working hard enough. And I was like, you motherfucker. Fair enough. Like, my arms aren't great, but like, that's so rude. That's so rude.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I think people just don't have a realistic idea. Like, also when you see someone on like Instagram, just a person, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, for real. That the look on Kolton's face when he saw me in person for the first time was quite worth.
Like, oh shit, his shoulders are like actually gigantic. He looked vascular like a penis. Like he was literally a walking penis in the fucking.
That's what I always think's funny is that when girls say that veins are gross, I'm like, maybe gross in pictures, but in person they react differently. Because there's some subconscious shit. It's like you're like you might be a short person, but you're a thick person. So, and if you're covered in veins, you're pretty much like a chode. So,
That's the logic.
Subliminal messaging.
Well, I actually had girls who called me chode in high school, and I didn't know that it was a compliment.
It's a compliment?
I think it's a compliment. When they look at you, they think of a dick. It's better than them looking at you and calling you pussy.
True. I mean, you embody it right now, and you getting into bodybuilding just became even more vascular. Perfect.
Yeah, well, of course. Oh.
Jeez.
All right, I'm gonna go upstairs now. What's this? Atlas shrugged. Look, yeah. What's that on Paul's Connor's views on hypertrophy? How much time you got, Atlas?
Yeah.
How much time you got?
This is gonna be a long one. He says good things. He says good things, but he surrounds them with wild statements. Like he thinks the bicep workout should be no more than 4 reps. Like I think that is just the wildest thing that I can ever hear from anybody, because you have such a big database of bodybuilders that prove that exactly wrong. And if you want to tear a bicep, sure, but I don't think his whole low rep idea, like extremely low rep, high load, is definitely that long lasting for a lot of people.
Well, let's look at a picture of him. Do you guys have the ability to share your screen? Because last I checked, the dude has no delts. And it's like, you can't do 4 reps with lateral raises. That's fucking retarded.
Right.
And his delts tell that tale. It's got a big ass back, so you can row your 4 to 6 reps. That's cool. Sloppy ass for him too. But if you look at his limbs, they've never seen a drop of hypertrophy. So now maybe I'm wrong, but I remember him having no delts. And I don't know how you could do fucking 4 reps with a lateral raise.
Well, his whole point is that he's not taking gear like he used to anymore, so he's just not big.
Okay, well that's like saying I don't like pussy anymore. That's why I'm an incel. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, look, I think when you get too attached to a certain rep range and you become dogmatic about it, that's a problem. Like,
yeah,
we don't have. I don't think we have any evidence suggesting that 4 to 6 or isolation movements from the limbs is superior. So why become attached to it? Usually, I find the best lifters or best educators around hypertrophy are just open to trying different things. And if he's attached to that rep range, then I don't know. I think that's an issue.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, he wants to die on that hill, basically, and it's a very weird concept, because I mean, I get it in one sense. It editorializes this idea that low rep ranges are the only answer, so people are gravitated towards that extremism, and they're like, this has to be why I haven't grown. But in another breath, it's like, well, there's so many people who get way much. Paul, for example, Big Paul, I mean, he won his IFBB Pro card doing like 20 rep sets type shit. So I don't know. It's like, it's kind of irrelevant to me what this guy has to say, to be honest. I think there's some good things interwoven into the sort of ludicrous things.
Yeah, I mean, I think people like to be contrarians too and just say shit that's going to get a reaction. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of it.
All right, do your magic and kick me out so you can take me back in, because I just switched to my computer.
Sure. He's out.
We're going to get demonetized, aren't we?
Yeah. Instantly demonetized.
Worth it.
I'm back, bitches. All right.
What's up, man?
So hopefully he doesn't get all butt sore because I said something mean. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's like, I made a video the other day where I was like, I don't want to be like Mike Van Wyck, Paul Carter, Victor Black, and just super surly and jerky all the time. And I said, Paul's getting better. He's being less of a cantankerous individual.
That's a good word. That's a really good word.
It's just, I guess, I think that if you're a dick, it puts people in a bad mood, right? But if you're funny, it puts people in a good mood. So if you can balance being a funny dick, then that's okay. You want to be like 2 parts funny, 1 part dick. But if you're just a whole lot of dick, then it's just not going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
Right. Everyone's like listening to you.
So I'm just... I do watch his stuff though because I like knowing what Chris thinks without having to read a fucking book.
Michael, what are your thoughts on alternating every day with MK677 one night and 6 GH the other night, or I could do 3 IUs every night?
What's the fucking point? Why not just use GH? It's cheaper than MK677 and more effective.
I agree.
I would say it's pretty irrelevant. I would not. The only case in which I would use MK677 in that kind of sense is like the night of or the morning of your rest day, because carbohydrates are lower, and then theoretically you could get a stimulate. You could save $1 or $2 on growth hormone, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but even the cheapest growth hormone on the planet is still better than MK. They're like, but it's not farm grade. It's like, neither is your MK.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a sourcing issue.
I'm going to trust this Chinese MK677 more than my Chinese GH.
Right. What was you did a video on it just today, I think it was, Todd, with the podcast with Janoshik, is it?
Mm-hmm.
What he said that basically, what did he say? Because he basically said that generics are basically fine, and like he's never seen them become like denatured. They're still as potent as they are when you start, and he taped them on the outside of his building and tested, like, you know. What did he say exactly?
What he said, because I watched it 3 times with transcript. So that the pharmaceutical industry standard is 91% pure and less than a 4% dimer. Good UGL GH is 98 or more % pure and less than 1% dimer. So even a really good farm grade GH is probably not as good as your standard UGL.
Interesting.
And that basically, if you leave it sitting out for 3 years, it'll degrade like 6%. Which means if you take a good UGL and leave it out sitting for 3 years, it'll still rank higher than the minimum necessary requirements by the FDA for farm grade GH.
Right. And he was saying that I was watching it because I was thinking about making a video, but you beat me to it. He was saying he taped a vial of generic outside of his lab window and just kept it out there for like several days in the summer.
60 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, and he tested it, and it was still just as
108.
fine.
It's 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's
Right.
hot as fuck.
Yeah, it's like balls hot. It's a sauna.
It's like
so
Dubai.
it kind of makes the whole point of refrigerating your GH irrelevant.
Well, I never thought it was. I mean, for 10 years, I haven't refrigerated this stuff unless it was going to sit there for months. Yeah, I just have it sitting right out with my insulin. That if you actually read the package insert on insulin, it's like it's good for 28 days after you open it before you have to refrigerate it. And that's really just because mathematically, what they're really concerned about is the bacteria multiplying in it. It has nothing, like anything in an aqueous solution that sits out for 30 days is fucked after you open it. You could get like mayonnaise and you leave that out at room temperature. It's going to be fucked way before 28 days. Milk, almond milk, this shit don't last. Even in a fridge, it doesn't last.
Interesting. Michael says, Todd, what generics are you using? All mine haven't been near as good as Geno's.
I'm using Meditrope. I think
we're all using Meditrope.
And I've been saying, I don't even call it generic. I call it Meditrope.
Yeah.
People have selected.
I think we're all using it. Yeah. I think every client I've ever had, I've said use Meditropes only, just because I think that it's constantly just a good price and a good fucking product. I don't think there's a bad generic really, unless you're getting some real sketchy shit, which turns out to be like a peptide of some other origin that you're reconstituting. Yeah. So I don't know.
Now, Janoshik did say that the sophistication level of the individual who ships him stuff is high enough to be sophisticated enough to get real good stuff. That there are people that get shit, but those people that get shit don't know who he is.
Interesting. That makes sense. So he has like a selection bias, basically.
Yes, exactly. The precise word. Sample bias.
Interesting. Yeah, I would have never actually considered that, to be honest. That's a very good point. So the likelihood is that the people sending him gear care enough and did enough research to even support the fact that it would be good.
By the time you know who he is, you found out who he is through a location or culture that provided you with ample sources.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny? Before that video came out, I thought it was just a business. Like I thought it was just a lab's like just a random
Yeah,
place.
so did I.
I didn't know it was an actual person. I was like, holy
I
fuck, this
knew
is
it
a
was-
human being.
I knew it was a person because the guy who makes the Meditrope and me talk regularly, and he told me like, okay, I'm gonna send this stuff to Jano and see what he thinks. And then he's like, I was like, I don't even want to go through him. I want to test at the source. So he had it tested in China. He's like, can you read Chinese? I was like, I'll figure it out. It's that important. So I got mass spectrometry imaging on the GH in Chinese. Yeah,
That's
and I've got
fucking
every
wild.
batch workup with the dimers and he was also going to do the DNA sequence. Like I'm going to have
That
the
would be
exact
crazy.
amino acid sequence for it, so that we know that it isn't just 191 amino acids; it's the exact sequence that it's supposed to be. That's 191.
That's fascinating. That's I've found it to be reliably the best for me, and there's not really any kind of anecdote outside of that. I've had every client use it that I can remember, and it's been effective. Simeon, how much Tren a week do top competitors run at the most? Man, this is so highly varied. I have heard stories from all sorts of different people that some of you may know, some of you may not, but everywhere up to, a gram down to like, I think me and Adam are pretty clear on like 35, 70 milligrams a week type stuff. But I've heard, I've seen people running doses upwards of a gram. So I know they're definitely out there.
Yeah, it's like, how long is a piece of string? You've got competitors running a shit ton, competitors using minimal amounts, even sometimes not at all. So hard to say.
Yeah. What do you think, Todd? Your mic's not working.
I ran as much as 1400, but
right.
I ran as little as 0, and I look just the same. The difference is Tren makes me more of a dick, and it also makes it harder to sleep, so I'm more of a dick. And it's like a lot of times I'll fantasize about murdering people when I'm on Tren, and I'll think that they're going to try to kill me.
You're sounding too much like Mike now, guy.
Well, the difference is he's serious about it. I'm kind of like, I've been doing this so long. It's just part of the day, you know. Like
it's just like a little murderous saturation.
Yeah, how would I kill this person? Now it's like, okay, I got to do it at this range though, because I don't want the blood getting on me. I'm wearing white, something like that. And that's how I think about it. Or it's like that kid looks adorable. They probably taste even better because I'd be so hungry. It's like I can outrun that little fucker. I wonder how many bites it would take to get through that arm. Like that kind of thing. So it's like that's the type of thoughts I have while I'm on Tren. Whereas if I don't take Tren, I don't think about killing or eating people.
Yeah, that's always a good mix. Yeah. I find that it's sometimes I question it. I'm like, why do people even take this if it's like unquestionably ruining their sleep, causing relational issues in their situation at home, leading them to be in a situation where they are angry and pissed all the time instead of just being in a calm, cool, and relaxed mood. It's just like, is there actually a point to taking this at a certain point? It's like, is the deleterious effects worth the squeeze?
Well, I think Samson summed it up best. He's like, I've never done a prep before where I didn't feel like shit. I didn't know that isn't just part of prep. It's just, I always just, we're at this many weeks out, so we had this. And we're this many weeks out, we had this. But then when he worked with Michael Warner, that he actually was doing his blood work and checking his blood work and then adjusting his cycle according to his blood work like you or I would, or Adam. And so it's like he's doing 21st century bodybuilding for the first time in his life. And he's like, this is awesome. So what's sad is that the implication is that despite Milos being his coach previously, he was getting the classic, here's a 16-week cycle bullshit, rather than, and this is where it comes from, even the top coaches don't really know what they're doing. They just know that this is what looks good, and this is a procedure we use, and we'll adjust the procedure as we go. But it's like, why are you adding T3 if they've got a 3.5 free T3? They already have a T3 that's good. Like, how if you don't know what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not the coach's fault. The athlete's like, I can't afford you and the gear and the food and the blood work. And they're like, well, we know this procedure worked because it worked last time. Let's just do it.
Yeah. That's the tricky shit, man. It sucks as a coach too, because it's like, well, we could either afford growth hormone or blood work. And sometimes it's just like, well, fuck it, dude. Let's just roll it.
And a lot of time it's like, all right, if your estrogen is an 8 and you feel great, and then for instance, I crushed my estrogen down to like a 2, I felt like crap and looked worse, but I didn't look better. So now I know that if the normal range is from 8 to 40, I can be anywhere in that range and I'm going to feel fine. But my IGF-1 was 100 points higher with a 14 estradiol than it was with an 8 estradiol. When you're that low, 7 points of estradiol is that much bigger deal towards muscle preservation.
Interesting. That's actually a super, that's exactly why blood work is so important, right? It's stuff like that. Your own N equals 1, and you figure out like, hey, I can actually specifically tell you like how many nanograms per deciliter or picograms per milliliter like makes a difference in my actual physique, you know?
So I like to think of the spray and pray. So like with gangsters, they use full auto and they just spray as they drive by, and they might hit 2 people, but you could have just used a handgun and ran up and fired 2 bullets and hit 2 people, right? And then not hit anybody else that you weren't trying to hit. So it's like, I think that a lot of these guys using no blood work is just spray and pray. Like, well, let's just take as much drugs as we can. And if we live, great.
It's a good day.
And then we'll deal with the consequences later.
Right.
Yes.
Whereas if you're precise and you use the right amount of gear to get exactly the best blood work goals you're trying to accomplish, like, oh, we got the estrogen exactly where we want it. We got the IGF-1 where we want it. We got your T3 exactly where we want it. You feel great. You're making gains. You're looking better. Leave it the fuck alone. You don't need to turn up the cardio. You don't need to turn down the carbs. You don't need to turn up any of the gear, because we're going in the right direction in multiple directions at once. Leave it the fuck alone. It doesn't matter how close you are to the stage. Your body doesn't know that you're 6 weeks out. It doesn't know if you're 3 weeks out.
Right. Oh, it's so true.
I mean, I make the argument that you'd be saving money by doing blood work more frequently and actually figuring out what you're doing instead of just, as you Todd said, spraying and praying, using every ancillary medication, every anabolic, hoping something works.
I have seen their protocols. It's just like, oh my god, we're working with 22 different fucking pharmaceuticals, and it's just like, what's like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at. This is ridiculous. Sometimes there's a place for it if we need to control blood pressure, if there's other issues, but like other times it's just like, Jesus Christ, man, like, why are you taking this? I don't remember. Okay, great, like, let's pull it. You know, what the fuck are we doing?
Or like how they're like on Winstrol and Halo and Anavar and Anadrol. Like, what's the fucking point? Why were you using so many similar drugs? It's like, well, we don't just have Coke products. We've got Pepsi products, and we've got RC Cola, and we have Fago. It's like, cola's cola, bitch. It's like, we don't need multiple forms of cola. One is fine. Well, it's like, they're just competing brands that are competing with each other with the same products. It's like, well, are you on Viagra and Cialis and the Levitra? No. You pick one of them and you rock and roll with that one, and that's it. You don't need to take all of them.
Right. I had a drug consultation with a client recently, and he was on NPP, like nandrolone phenylpropionate, Deca as well. So he's taking NPP and Deca, and then he was also taking Tren with 100 milligrams of test. I'm like, dude, who the fuck is designing these goddamn cycles, bro? This is crazy. Like, you're taking 3 different 19-ors. Obviously, 2 are the same, but different.
But they all hit different receptors, man. There's the nandrolone receptor, and then there's the NPP receptor, and then there's the Tren receptor. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's so wild. I love this. The sport's crazy because you just get some of the wildest shit that comes across. It's perplexing.
You hear it all the time.
Oh my god,
dude! It's like, you know, Jesus killed dinosaurs. I saw it.
Yeah, it's real.
I mean,
it's in the book.
Like, Jesus killed dinosaurs. That's why he's my god.
Simon asks, do judges confuse Nick Walker's veins for good conditioning, or is that only fans who think, not only fans, just only fans who think it's a sign of good conditioning?
I don't think they're that stupid, but
Yeah.
varicose veins does not necessarily mean you're lean.
Yeah. I would say no.
I always look at boys' butts. That's how I know if they've got good conditioning.
Pretty
Is that
much.
cat walking around in the background?
Yeah.
Yes, it's cat. Ready for chicken.
Yeah, she just competed, right?
Yeah, she competed last week, and we're
Bullshit
competing
fucking
again.
show ever. Jesus Christ.
Where
Don't
were
get me
you?
started.
You were like the Cambodia Classic. What was it?
Yeah.
That was
It was like
that was a
back in the factory. It was like,
It was to Malaysia, bro. Malaysia pro qualifier. I mean, not far off. Pretty
no,
much
it
the
was
same
cool.
shit.
I was like, oh, they got like structures. I know this is gonna sound so racist, but I think everything is like from Rambo 2. So I totally don't expect there to be like buildings and shit like that.
Honestly, it's confusing because sometimes you'll go into a really nice modern place. You go out the street, turn a corner, and be like, "Fuck, I'm back in Africa."
Okay,
Almost.
so it is. It's up and coming. It's developing. Is the proper
Yes.
term. We don't
In perpetual development.
We need to say developing. Yes.
Yes.
Got indoor plumbing and Wi-Fi. You're over it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. But I'm actually in Manila, the Philippines right now. And we're doing a pro qualifier tomorrow. Depending on results on that, we might do Vietnam. Depending on results of that, we might do Japan. Depending on results of that, we might do Bangkok. We're just going to keep going.
I thought about doing Japan and thought about doing China, and I thought about doing India, but I was worried that I would have diarrhea for like 6 months if I did India.
Yeah.
I know 5 people who competed. All 5 of them got food poisoning.
Well, because I was like, you guys don't have an LED background, do you? And they're like, yes, we totally have an LED background. They're all excited about it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's like, I fucking hate the LED background.
Yeah, Adam, do you have by any chance, do you have that stage shot where they had that first call out where everyone's, you know what the shot I'm talking about?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll get it. It's the top 3. I don't like to do. I would like to show the full stage shot with the cat in there, but I'll send you the one where it's just the top 3. One moment. I'll send it. Do you want to send it on WhatsApp?
Yeah, sure.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to show you. Just it's absolutely insane because in my opinion, she was the only one with a very clear like hamstring glute tie-ins, very clear like massive abductors compared to everyone on stage. And it was just like these yeah, dude, like this is actually insane. I'll show you.
So when we get the stage shots, I'll share the actual stage shots because I'm not going to be that motherfucker who says, "Oh, look at me in the hotel room versus what's on stage." We just haven't received them yet.
Let me pull it up. Sorry. Yeah, dude, it actually pisses me off because
it's like a controlled lighting.
Let me go here just because it's gonna be a bitch to pull this up. But basically, like, Kat's fucking shredded, right? And these girls are not nearly as lean as her, and somehow
is it bikini?
No, it's wellness.
Oh, okay. It's the same thing, where it's ambiguous conditioning. It's not like you get something cut and dry like figure where you know what you're supposed to do. With wellness or bikini, it's just like, oh, they're too hard. It's like, fuck you. It's like they don't look as hard as the Olympians. And Sandy herself said that whatever goes at the Olympia should be what goes at all lower levels. So you have to play this game where you bring a girl in less than her best so that she is somewhere in the pack, but at the head of the pack. Because if she's too far ahead of the pack, then she looks, if she's leaner than all the figure and the physique girls and she's in bikini, then they're like, she's too hard. It's like, bitch, she's not too hard. She looks exactly the way she's supposed to look. Everyone else just looks like they haven't fucking dieted.
Okay, so let's do the perspective here. This is Kat way before. This is not her.
God
this
damn,
is before she had even
amazing glutes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what her legs, not peaked, nothing. Right.
Right.
That's
how I bring her in. I bring her in soft and flat.
Exactly. Right. You'd be like,
that's what we did do.
Yeah. This is a great look. Then
do it at your worst, so you don't make the other girls want to kill themselves.
The girls who won here.
All right. So that looks really good, though.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Compared to Kat, like, these girls are not as lean. which I get like isn't the biggest determining
But they're
factor.
not fat either. They still look.
They're not
really
fat
good.
either. But if we're talking about the Olympia level, like what are the girls looking like there? Like you can definitely see their hamstring and glutes. Here, I mean, these girls have decent legs, but they're also like you can very clearly see that they're pushing their quads out from like the back. You know what I mean? Like they're pushing their quads out like this with their hands, or at least the center girl is.
Yeah, they're externally rotating. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's such a dumb comparison on it when we're looking at. I don't know. Right. I guess I'm biased, but
that's really good. I didn't know the competition was that good in Asia.
I think a lot.
To be honest, the Malaysia show was actually stacked. In classic, there were 4 classes, like all the way up to D. All of them completely stacked. Really also shredded. It was
meant to be like that because the Asian dudes are going to have small waists and big legs. They're going to look fucking awesome. I just didn't expect the female. I mean, I guess I should expect the girls to be thin. I didn't expect them to have the same genes, which is stupid. They're the same people, but I didn't expect them to have the same leg genes as the dudes. Which is, I guess I've never looked at a bunch of Asian chicks in wellness before, but that was really impressive.
Needless to say,
actually, where Kat was a year ago, it's like she's a completely different.
Oh, human. I know. It's
oh my god,
wild, dude.
Completely wild.
Yeah, like legitimately, I know we hype her up a lot on this fucking podcast, but she has like Olympia tier genetics at that rate of progression. It's
Kolton. You can share the recent one I just showed you. That's her yesterday. That's her yesterday on 4,500 calories, like 700 grams of carbs.
Oh my god, dude! This
is basically Todd. The feedback we got was we were too conditioned and too striated. So, and that was me feeding her into the show, trying to soften the look. So I've further fed her to try soften the look.
Right, you're just reversing out right now.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but she's like
over.
Yeah, she's like 130 pounds, and I'm feeding her like 4,500 calories.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Like, that looks more like what they're looking for.
Her legs are just
split hamstring, amazing glute ham tie-in, huge glutes. That's like amazing. That's fucking amazing.
You know when someone's lean when you see they have pits in their fucking like behind their knees, you know? That shit's gnarly.
Oh
dude.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
crazy.
See that. Shit, looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's
There's
intentionally
no way.
That's me trying to spill her even more. So we're going to probably do like another 4,500 today. So she's maybe even a touch softer tomorrow, and then just run with it.
That's like Renee Jewett type shit. That's incredible.
Literally, yeah.
So Milkman 95. I've got a good source of Primo. Should I buy it? Never tried it before. I'm just on test at the moment. So I don't understand this thought process. It's like I could go down to Detroit and buy some crack. It's like doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Like just because you have access to a drug doesn't mean you should do drugs. What's the point of using Primo? Are you trying to crush your E2?
Right. Do you need it to grow bigger? Right. Like are you plateaued and do you need it? That's the question.
Did you test your estrogen and find out your estrogen's high? So you're like, I need to stop on this estrogen. I don't want any IGF-1. Like, why would you jump on Primo just because it's popular? I guess that's what I.
I'll just give him the answer he wants. Yes, just buy it. It's good. Just buy it all. Just buy it.
No,
just buy it.
You can't be sarcastic and a positive, because that's when someone does it. It was like, well, I went and bought some crack, like Dr. Lee said, and I got arrested.
Everyone's gonna be Todd as a psychopath. Yeah.
Well, I actually am, but I mean, I do care.
A reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever said. Did we say this? I don't think so. Are we saying it's better to keep GH Slin out? No, it's definitely better.
Where did you come up with this?
No, it's better to keep it.
I don't think when we ever said that we don't use GH or Slin.
I think if anything, we've voted against the opposite. Some people switch. Oh, yeah, that happened to Fuad apparently. With like he thought he had Serostim pens and it turned out to be Lantus, which that's like a user error. Like if you don't know,
fuck that up.
Yeah, if you don't know a Lantus pen from a Serostim pen, that's fucking.
Serostims have pens?
Yeah.
I've never heard of such.
Okay. Wait, am I talking about the wrong GH brand?
Probably. I think you're thinking of Genotropin.
Yeah, Genotropin comes in.
Yeah, sorry. I'm talking about
Genotropin's white and has Turkish writing on it.
Right, it has Turkish writing, and he was saying that people replace the sticker with fucking the Genotropin sticker, but it was a Lantus sticker underneath. But the pens, even though, are still different colors. They're entirely different structured. Like it's not the same
It's
at all.
more money. The Lantus is $300 a pin.
Yeah.
A Janoshik is $220. Who the fuck would do that? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Insulin's more expensive than even farm grade GH.
And you can't find insulin in a 3.33 milligram vial like that. Like you're not gonna. It's
This at the pharmacy is $300 in the US.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ! Is it really?
Yeah.
I was going to say
Lantus?
insulin is
This
just
in
more
the
expensive in the
pharmacy
US.
and in Turkey was $8. In the US, it's $220. So
That was $8.
yeah, this was $8.
What
They only had
the
4 of them. So I didn't want to get in trouble, so I just shot all of them on the plane. Nothing happened. That's how I know that there's nothing better about the fucking Genotrope and bullshit. Is I shot 4 of these things on the plane in the first class bathroom because it is a very nice bathroom.
God.
If I was going to do drugs on a plane, it would be a first class bathroom that I would do them in. So I shot 4 of these. It didn't do shit compared to 2 bottles of Meditrope. So this is $300. This is $8. Why the flying fuck would I buy this for $300 and sell it for $8? That's fucking retarded.
Yeah, I didn't realize you did that on the plane, man. Weren't you concerned about getting a fucking like a DVT or anything? You just
Speaking of Rambo 2, do you think when Rambo had his chest cut open in the tiger cage, he was worried about getting a staph infection? No. So if Rambo can do it, I can do it.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Arguably correct.
I don't think there's diarrhea
Arguably
particles floating through the air that in the plane's bathroom.
What's up, man? Love your podcast. Oh yeah, I already put this one up.
Yeah. What's your favorite lean bulking stack?
Lean bulking stack, because they're totally different from every other bulking stack.
I love when people are like, that's like a thin fat chick. Is a lean bulk. That's oxymoronic. In fact, I was going to make a video today. Right now, I decided to come on this instead. I was sitting down to do a video where I was going to say, like, every time you say the term bulk, God kills a puppy. That was going to be the name of the video. I hate the term bulking. It's like, I want to get all fat. Like, remember the Mast Gainer 3000 that Cartman took?
Yeah.
From like season 1 of South Park, episode 3 or whatever it was. It's like Mast Gainer 3000, and he had like rolls of fat coming out of his face. That's what I think of when people say, I'm going to go on a bulk. I'm like, what? You're not fat enough?
It's so accurate, man. It's so accurate. Yeah, I think a lean bulking stack is going to be the same stack as you'd use for any situation. It's just the calories you put in, right? Like, there's no, you're not going to be lean perpetually. You can stay leaner, which would just be how to like mass appropriately. Like you wouldn't want to get fat. So if arguably you're getting fat on a massing phase, it's just because an erroneous reworking of your calories, essentially / output, you know?
Yep. You want to be 5 to 10% surplus. I heard it from Haney Rambod's mouth for the first time in 2010. He was like, just go 10% surplus. I'm like, that's it. He's like, that's it, 10% surplus. Train arms rule. 3 times a week and do our 10% surplus. And I immediately walked up to Guy's sister, I was like, do you think you should train arms 3 times a week? He's like, how the fuck would you do that? You wouldn't have time to train anything else. Why are you asking me? My arms fucking suck. And I was like, this is it's like I went from talking to one of my personalities to talking about one of my other personalities. It's like
Sebastian Greg's hiding the secret there's actually testosterone receptors. Yep.
Yes, that would make sense. Now it's not testosterone in the Turk builder.
No, it's not. I did a video on this. Yeah.
What is the fucking, you did a video on everything. What the fuck is in the Turk builder? Okay.
No.
Let me ask you. All right, I'll do a slow, underhanded one you can catch. All right, what is methylene blue? Everyone keeps asking me about it.
Well, technically, it's an actual like dye, isn't it? It's like an actual chemical.
Yeah, industrial dye. You get what's the grade, like USPC? I can't remember that. Yeah. It's approved for human usage.
What's the point of it?
In like society?
Yeah, why are people injecting methylene blue?
It's so for me, I think because from what I was looking at, it's due to like mitochondrial biogenesis, like it increased mitochondrial biogenesis.
So let me get this straight. You inject methylene blue so your mitochondria could grow more mitochondria?
I don't inject it. I take it orally.
Okay.
Is there a difference?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. People I don't know shit about it. I'm like, why do I not know about this? I was in the shower today and I'm thinking, what am I not doing that I could be doing to make my life more efficient? I was like, I'm not injecting methylene blue. I don't know what the fuck it is, but everyone else is doing it. And I was like, what's this SLUP? SLUPP?
That's so Sloopy.
Sloopy. SULPP332. Yeah, to be honest, I've purchased methylene blue. I haven't used it yet, so I haven't said shit about it because all my research on it has been theoretical. So once I've tried it, I might actually say something about it. But I was looking into this industrial diet.
What's your theoretical, like, what do you think it's supposed to do based on your reading?
Well, reading into it, I'll be honest, it was quite confusing because, as Kolton said, it was supposed to be like, my understanding was mitochondria upregulation. So supposedly making it more efficient. I don't exactly know because, again, I think the research on it is, like with most, peptides and research chemicals, quite sparse. I don't think we have anything super concrete. And to be honest, most of the time I was going off people's anecdotal experiences, literally reading and saying, okay, I have a boost in cognitive function. Yes, this has almost replaced like my ADHD medication. So for the most part, I was simply going to try it, tie it to what I've been reading and see if there's actually any individual response with myself.
So the reason why this is horrifying to me is that I don't want to do anything to my mitochondria without knowing what I'm doing to my mitochondria.
Yeah.
No, what is it due to the electron transport chain? How is it? Is it regenerating NAD? Is it like, what are we doing to making this mitochondria more efficient? You know what I mean?
It's the theoretical. This is already sounding bad because I'm saying theoretical, but like it should increase oxygen utilization, right, and like act as an alternative electron carrier, essentially.
I guess I'd have to know how that's happening because it's terrifying to me to punch a hole in my mitochondria because if it's the opposite of DNP, that means you gain weight faster. Right. So for instance, you use MAT-C to increase the efficiency of the mitochondria. You use DNP to decrease the mitochondria efficiency. So if you're taking MAT-C to counteract the effects of DNP, how about you just stop taking the fucking DNP? Right. There's a lot of people. I think that a lot of the education comes from the people selling this shit. And then when you or I make a video about it, lower IQ people are like, oh, I want to have bigger dick. I'm going to take that. And then, wait, I didn't say anything about bigger dick. It's like, well, I must have misunderstood you. I was only half paying attention. And so, and then it's the Tide Pod situation where it's like somebody who's an orange troll apparently makes a joke like, oh, I wish we could disinfect our blood. And then people are injecting Lysol. So it's like, I want to know exactly what this shit does so I can know what you can stack with it and what you can't. So, for instance, some dude told me about Sloopy, and he's like, it works on the estrogen receptor. And I locked eyes with Chase, and Chase's eyes, I was like, oh, shit. It's almost like he assumed I'd get triggered because he knows, like, I'm Mr. Estrogen. So it's like, it doesn't. It just makes it so you feel as if you just worked out. And I was like, so how? And he's like, watch my video. I'm like, motherfucker, you're right here. It's like, I'm not some pro. I was like, come on, man. Just tell me how it works. He's like, it makes you think you just worked out. I was like, so I don't have to lift weights anymore? I can just take this drug and then I don't have to lift weights and then just eat and do steroids and my muscles will grow? And he's like, well, no, not that type of working out. I'm like, so it simulates you doing aerobic exercise.
Yeah, it's an exercise mimetic. There's like 1,000,001 exercise mimetics, right? So it's just kind of like the same thing. It mediates it's a non-selective estrogen receptor modulator. So and the thing is so I've taken a lot of it, right? So I've taken, because we all got like a ton of it at the Olympia. I've taken 500 micrograms. I ain't taking it. I'm letting you guys take it. You're young. You'll bounce back faster. If they all live, I'll try it. The one prominent thing I've noticed two things from taking it, and it's certainly that like I feel a lot more able to do exercise. Like I do lots of high intensity cardio, so I feel more capable of doing that. But the other thing is that I've never been, and Adam can attest to this, I can run like upwards of a gram of testosterone without ever having estrogenic issues. I have had like non-stop estrogenic issues with this in place, and that is not even close to a gram of testosterone. It's more like 500 mgs whenever I remember to inject. So
we're talking about. So this is so funny because I know somebody who's basically a full of shit turd who's going to get so mad when this gets broken open, but I'm going to say it right here. So what I'm hearing is that it gives you a beneficial effect of something binds to one of the two estrogen receptors, and you're getting a positive effect along with the negative effects of estrogen receptors. So if you have more energy, one would assume it's improving your insulin sensitivity by either binding estrogen alpha or it's increasing your IGF-1 production by binding to your estrogen beta receptor. So we're basically now, did you happen to put on any muscle with this?
Fuck no.
Okay, you lost fat with it.
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you look at my pictures, I'm pretty lean.
So this individual who insists that the reason why these clients of his are fat is because their estrogen is high is counteracted by the fact that this Sloopy is actually helping you lose fat, and that you're getting an estrogenic effect from it when you normally don't from even 1,000 milligrams of testosterone.
Yeah. Basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
So there's that.
So I don't need to take it because I've got like a 76 estradiol right now.
Yeah, I think you're good. Personally, I've liked the benefits just because I'm a big like endurance guy, but I just don't like having to balance my estrogen in a non-calculated way because I don't necessarily know what estrogen receptors being.
It's like fishing with a grenade.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, what's funny is you're like, well, and I don't want to be a complete dick to Milkman, but you could always throw some Primo on it and then crush it. And it's like, well, how about we just stop taking it rather than chasing the Sloopy effect with Primo, and I just take less Sloopy, and then you won't have to take the Primo to cancel out the Sloopy.
Yeah, right. It's fucking ridiculous, right? Shoko asks, best way to mitigate anxiety and mental side effects like panic attacks on gear.
Don't tell your girlfriend you're on gear. They just push your fucking buttons because they want you to snap so they can throw it in your face that you're a dick on gear so they can control whether you take it or not.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's good relationship advice.
He's turning purple because if Kat hears this, he's in trouble. I don't want you talking about that anymore. Fuck
she
that.
Doesn't give a shit. Todd, she doesn't give a shit.
She doesn't even know what she's running, to be honest.
She's like in an oxygen gym, Todd, where it's just like, here's your shots, here's your pills, take it.
Go train.
Could be Tren.
50 Shades of Tren. Right.
Yeah.
How horny do you want her to be for the day?
Yeah, it's like bend over and stick it out. I'm gonna give it to you. And it's just like, yes, daddy. And it's like that's pretty much the relationship. What every girl wants, and the women in Asia don't deny. Yes.
Exactly. No, I pick my partners based on genetics.
Yeah. That could be taken so many ways. All right.
I don't understand what his question is here. So,
okay. So his TSH is low. His free T4 is low. His free T3 is really low. He's using 10 micrograms of T3 and 20 of T4 and pulled both out about a week ago before my blood test.
Part 2, I was super lean for 6 weeks. Not sure if my levels are representative of being too calorically restrictive for a long time or if it's a thyroid meds.
Well, okay, I'm really confused. Why the fuck would you take the thyroid meds out before getting blood work done? Because you're not going to get an accurate picture of what the meds were doing because you're not on the meds anymore. Yeah. Of course you're going to be suppressed. You just crushed the shit out of it by taking suppressive drugs.
Yeah, it's thyroid is its own negative feedback loop. So if you're adding in more, it's going to suppress its own production. So it makes sense that these are low.
He's taking some baby ass dose. That shouldn't have done that. That shouldn't have crushed him flat like that.
Right. I imagine maybe he was taking more at one point. It's hard to say. I wonder if he's not responding.
Well, they only allow you 100 characters, so it's like medicine by Twitter. It's like, I'm sure if he could give us a bigger picture, he would.
Yeah. Hire us for a consultation.
How many people are in your consult? I mean, in your queue right now?
103. Oh no,
Holy
53
shit.
now.
You
There
have
was
way
a
better.
peak of 100.
You have a way bigger audience than I do. Wow.
Post
Good
daily,
shit.
bro.
Oh, that's right, because you're.
Oh, they have for you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, they heard your name, dude. Shoko, have you ever seen HGH use cause ED or no? I've never seen that reduction in boner quality.
No, dude.
Typically, no.
It's because you're thinking about it. Stop thinking about if your dick's gonna work. If you think, is my dick gonna work? It's not gonna work.
No joke. That's so common. The amounts of clients tell me, I think my estradiol's high. Oh my god, my dick's not working. And I'll get an LCMS, estradiol test in perfect range. I'm like,
brother, yeah.
If you tell your girl that you're on Deca and she accuses you of Deca dick, then you will have Deca dick because you'll be worried.
It'll immediately happen.
Deca dick. You just got to assume this, like, she's whatever. I'm not going to say that because that's too vulgar, even for me. But don't think about it. It will get hard. Just think about the stuff you like and do that first. Don't worry about foreplay. And if she complains, just say shut up, and then just do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be so hard, and she'll like it, so she won't ever ask you to stop again.
Yeah, you just have to be a little selfish. I think that people forget that. Like, you do have to be a bit selfish.
At least 50% of the
works
time.
out.
Otherwise, they don't think you really want them. If they just think that you're going to throw them down and use them for sex, it makes them feel pretty. You just can't bring that to their attention because then their feminism is going to kick in and they're going to reject the idea.
Precisely, Todd. Precisely what you said.
These are the next level mind games you guys need to think about.
Todd or Oliver asks what I thought about Greg making a video on me and how it'll impact my future. To be honest, guys,
are you going to kill yourself over this? I hope you don't.
No, no. I don't.
Oh my God, Greg said something.
Yeah, I think
it means you're famous. It means he's threatened by you.
Exactly. I think Greg's just at the end of the day, I actually think he likes me because the things he says about me are very nice. And people just
right now.
You should. It's a very good video. He agrees with everything I say, but yet he says it in a way that's rude. So it's like everyone's like, "Oh, he's dissing Kolton," and it's like, no, the whole video he agreed with me, and then he called my arms small, and that's it. So it's like, okay, it's what it is. I feel like he wouldn't make a video about a channel with 10,000 subscribers because here's the thing: he told Paul that he messaged Paul saying I would never cover a channel that's under 100K subscribers. And yet he's covered my channel 2 times, and it only has, the first time it had less than 7,000 subscribers. The second time it had, more than 10,000, but still. So like in my mind, it's like maybe he actually likes me, but how I think it'll impact my future, I'll just reply to it, and use it as algorithm leverage.
You get to use his name, and then it boosts him and you, and your fake hatred of each other actually makes you both richer.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I already have a video made, and I'll.
It's just
after this
a
live,
weird culture that teaches people to hate each other.
Yeah, it's all fake. Like I promise you, it is all fake. Greg's a great person. I've talked to him. He's not like he is on camera at all. Like it's all fake. It's bullshit. But people like to think it's super fucking real.
Hope he makes fun of my tiny lats. It's like toddling is like a flying squirrel. It doesn't have the lats to fly like a squirrel, and he doesn't have the nuts like a squirrel either. He needs turnover. Buy my cookbook. It's full of nuts.
That was pretty good. Guy in the center is from South Africa. Does he dare compete in the Dingo Classic?
Wait, you're from
he is from South Africa.
From Australia.
He lived in Australia, but you answer. I don't either.
I'm actually African, Todd. Hey, don't be racist.
No, I always say that Elon Musk is my favorite African American. Nothing pisses people off in Detroit more than that.
You don't want to say that shit in Detroit, man. Jesus Christ.
It's like, I love African Americans. I'm a big fan of Elon. I drive a Tesla. They're like, motherfucker. It's like totally not going to go over well.
Yeah, on that note, Greg called me a black natural athlete. So I thought that was like a compliment because he calls Chris Bumstead a black natural athlete. So, is there any effect that I can get better from EQ that I can't get from Deca, Primo, or Mast? I mean, erythropoiesis. I mean, you get more red blood cell production. That's, in my opinion, just about it. So if you're like a endurance-based individual,
collagen synthesis. EQ's got the best collagen synthesis out of those drugs.
How so?
Really? Even better than Primo?
Mm-hmm. The collagen synthesis, I think, is 240% or 300% at 200 milligrams. And Deca
based off of what? Like,
collagen.
yeah, like how is 300% of better of what? Like,
of your normal production. So if you had, it'll improve it by a function of 1.3, where it's like 1.24 or something for Deca. It's not a huge advantage with EQ over Deca, but if the goal is not to get bitch tits and you want to actually dry out, you can still get the collagen benefits with EQ without resorting to using Deca. You don't have to use Deca, because you notice that there's all these fucktards who take Deca for their sore joints, and then it's their HRT doctors prescribe it for that because they're fucking morons and they don't know anything. And people think,
and they prescribe doses of like 300 milligrams of it, like,
which is what the standard is. It's 200 to 300 milligrams is where you get the collagen synthesis. It's so funny that they think it's like a threshold effect. It's like, no, you stupid motherfuckers. That's just what they tested. They didn't test every milligram as a different leg of the experiment and conclude, aha, eureka, the threshold is 200 a week. No, that's just what they tested. It's 1 cc a week. That's what they do. They just load the syringe up with a cc, shoot it in your ass once a week, let it rip. I mean, that's very unsophisticated because they have to get the test subjects to show up, because they're not going to let the test subjects self-administer. And this is stuff that normal people don't know about studies, is the method section and how to actually conduct a study.
So important.
Limits the findings dramatically because you've got the patient compliance, and then the doctors aren't that good at this shit either.
Yeah, and you can see like exclusion and inclusion criteria, which just lets you know, like, it's so fucking important, because people quote exercise science studies all the time, and the inclusionary criteria is like they consider an advanced trainer someone who trains 3 times a week for at least a year. It's like, dude, come on.
It's like, no, if you didn't train less than 20 years, you're intermediate, like, period. Yeah. And it's like Brad Schoenfeld's the world expert on hypertrophy. It's like, the dude's the size of my wrist. How is he the world expert? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh my god, you fucking you make me laugh.
I'm sorry, guys. I need to go. The fucking check-ins are now, so Cat's got to get tanned. But lovely seeing you both. Hopefully, I'll be back for the next live stream. Todd, please join again. It was great having you.
Wish her luck for me.
Yeah, same thing.
Thank you. Gonna deball and Tren. You know, she's gonna get harder and soft at the same time. So it's wellness. You know, don't know which end of the scale I'm on.
She's gonna throw a trophy at she's gonna beat people with her 5th place trophy until they're all dead and take their first.
That'll we just fucking do 212. Fuck it.
Yeah, then we can just run to a different country because they're all so close. Where are you at right now? You're Philippines.
Philippines.
Manila. Yeah. Okay. Can you like swim to Guam? Is that where that? I don't know where any of that's located down there.
It's all the same. Wherever Rambo was shot, it's like the same jungle.
Yeah. Okay. It's a one big jungle.
Just steal a chopper.
All right, Adam.
All right.
I got you guys. Bye.
Okay, so Scott Rogers.
We're going to be racist to everyone this episode, so therefore it's okay.
It's
on your channel, so I don't get in trouble for it.
You don't get demonetized for it. Scott Rogers asks, is it worth it to hop on cycle, become a YouTube millionaire, then disappear while on top? I mean, it's
better than disappearing while you're on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's one method. Look, the reality is that every fitness influencer ever is most likely using some kind of pharmacology to get there. So, I mean, you even have Alex
and get murdered in someone's bathroom by a hooker.
Yeah, that could be how you end your career.
Yeah.
That works too. That works too.
So hop on a cycle, become a YouTube millionaire, then disappear while on top. I'm trying to find some flaw in this logic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't know what you need to hop on the cycle for. And I mean, don't know why you need to disappear.
Well, you disappear when you're winning because you don't want to fall and then disappear because everyone thinks you're a loser. If you leave while you're on top, it's like, oh.
But even if you're a loser, people pay to laugh at you.
That's true. It all
Think
works
about
the same.
the true Hollywood stories. They get paid for those. You could even fake being a loser. Like, I got addicted to meth and I sucked dick for room and board, and then I got AIDS on my face. And then now I'm working at Denny's, and it's like that story would sell probably more than actual opinions.
Well, you know that guy. I released a video today on Wes Watson. Do you know who that is?
You do videos on all these people. I don't know who they are because I'm not like
for your benefit. Yeah, his whole thing is like, oh, I went to prison for so long and I had it so hard, and that's like his whole shtick, and that's why he's like famous. And it's just like, dude, like you're just because you say you're bad, people love it, and it's weird as shit. Sebastian asks earlier, he was asking the question about GH. He was referring to leaving it out of the fridge. Yes, we clarified that it might actually not matter at all to be in the fridge.
That's what he meant. Yeah, it's 28 days for insulin. It can be months for GH. Not after it's reconstituted. The GH, we're talking about when it's still a pellet. Lyophilized. Whatever.
Oliver asks, is it true that GH is taken out of monkey brain? No, I don't know.
It was cow brain.
It was, yeah.
It was cow brain.
Was developed.
Is that Walter White?
Okay. Yeah, it was a Walter White photo.
All right.
Fat shit man. Fat shit man asks, what's the
fart shit man?
Oh, fart shit man. I get it now. What is the necessity of taking days off dosing of MK67? Like one can't do. I usually do it just because the suggestion is that there's 5 dimer types that you naturally secrete of growth hormone, and those different dimer types might have different effects in the human body. That's my understanding. So the only reason in which I would do that is 1, because of that, and then 2, because it would just save somebody money if they really needed to be like. I would rather someone dose growth hormone relatively really high and get elevated IGF-1 around or after training windows, so around training, and then dose it low on rest days, which, you know, to save money in my mind. But how heavily do you focus on hitting your daily vitamins and minerals? Quite heavily. I track that stuff pretty rigorously. I don't know about you, Todd.
Yeah.
I
think I get 5,000 milligrams of potassium. I was getting 40,000 milligrams of sodium on prep, and then I use chronometer to make sure that I have all the appropriate other minerals and vitamins. I wasn't getting enough calcium or vitamin E, so I went and bought supplements for calcium and vitamin E.
Yeah, dude, it's a big thing. A lot of bodybuilders don't hit their calcium. A lot of bodybuilders don't hit their potassium needs, or like the correct ratio between sodium and potassium. And those things can change a lot. How worth it is it to get on an SSRI for an anxiety disorder? I'm thinking potentially Lexapro. So I use personally fluvoxamine. The only reason I use it is because, and it's because it has some pretty potent data to show that it could actually increase it can increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So it's almost a little bit of a nootropic agent as well as an antidepressant. I have legitimate PTSD though, so it's different for everybody. You might not have that significant of an issue. Other people don't like it. So I like it because it keeps me stable. It just like keeps, even when I'm on cycle, it can keep me like kind of just leveled out, which I enjoy.
Wait, is your PTSD from combat?
Yeah, it's a bit from everything, to be honest. Like early childhood stuff caused issues, military, and then it's like they were like, "Hey, you have PTSD now." It's like, "Oh, cool."
So what's funny is it didn't occur to me you actually saw combat until recently. When you were in the Army for 8 years, I don't know why I thought that, but I thought you had not been involved. But then you said something in a recent podcast that implied you had.
Which podcast?
I don't remember. Maybe it was your own podcast.
Maybe
where you brought up your mom or whatever, or your childhood.
Yeah. That right. Yeah.
So wait, where were you deployed? Iraq or Afghanistan?
Djibouti.
Really?
Africa. Yeah.
I didn't know that there was any. We were even in Djibouti. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. No, we're dude. Like that. It's a perfect missile depot. So like, if you think about it, it's very centralized to be able to target Middle Eastern countries. Mm-hmm. So we ship out and in stuff on the beach lines there, as well as have like, essentially missile silos, Well,
and it's within striking distance of Yemen.
Right. And the problem is that there's African pirates. They're fucking everywhere. And so you have to stop the African pirates from trying to get the missiles. So it's
robbing you.
Yeah. So it's not, I wouldn't call it like crazy combat or anything. I don't think it's like 2008 level, but it's you know, still weird shit. Could Nick Walker have suffered from blood clot in his leg last year? I don't think so. I think he actually tore his hamstring. It looked like a pretty clear tear to me.
Occam's razor. It's the simplest explanation is the most likely explanation. So if he says he tore a hamstring and he's got a ruptured blood vessel, big pooling of blood in his calf, it makes more sense that it came from a torn hamstring than from a calf and it floated upward against gravity. Plus, why lie?
Yeah, it doesn't serve him to lie. Like it would, like if he got a blood clot, he would still need to be doing the same thing, whether it's a blood clot or a tear. When Jansen's athlete like Brett Wilkins weren't able to keep their meals down, was it fixed by taking out orals? Oh yeah,
it was
more than likely.
Dom Kuza is who he went to get his GI health fixed. So Brett talks about it in a podcast where he gave Dom credit, and I think it was on Mutant in the Mouth in the episode that Brett was a guest, because Nick had said, "Oh yeah, I don't touch dairy or gluten," because Brett was eating a lot of stuff that we would normally not eat. And so I know Dom cleaned up his diet. Also, Dom developed a lot of the products for Revive, like their gut health and their glucose pill, all that stuff. Speaking of which, I gotta take mine.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, I think a part of it though was also the orals too, just because I know old Matt Jansen is a little bit heavy on those hoes, and very likely remove some of that. Trenbolone can also cause a ton of acid reflux as well. And that is also something Jansen's very fond of. So it's likely he reduced doses and then went to get his GI checked out by the other guy.
This is it. This is Dom's product.
You like that?
It's going good so far. I was using Suppressor Max before, but it's sold out. I was using my product, Battle Need, but we sold out. And then
how often do you restock?
Well, that's just, see, what people don't understand about the supplement industry is that it's shady as fuck and people are super irresponsible. So like you give someone 20 grand to make your products and they might just blow it on meth and hookers. And that sounds like an exaggeration. That is a real thing.
I believe it.
Yeah. So what I do now is I do 50% up front and then 50% on delivery. So at least you're only dishing out like 15 grand at a time.
Yeah.
So like
that's a fuck ton though. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So Battle Mead, this new and improved Battle Mead would be fucking awesome. So I was the first one I know of to put all those GDAs in an Intra, but I really like Justin's formula because it's a sustained release berberine, and Dom has a really good product here that's got berberine in it also. I don't put berberine in my Intra because you don't want to have berberine around training because the AMK pathway, I believe, contradicts the mTOR AKT pathway. So I want to basically use the AMK in the morning when you do fasted cardio, AMK at night when you go for like a night walk or getting the rest of your steps for the night. But around training, which is usually the middle of my wake cycle, we'll call it a day, that's when I want to stay away from the berberine. And so that's why I have it set up that way. And I've got my continuous glucose monitor here to show you how effective Dom's product is working if you want to see.
I saw you rocking that shit at the Olympia.
Yeah, I know. So this is, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, wow.
First spike was meal 1. The second spike was meal 2. The third spike was meal 3. So as I'm going through the day, you can see the glucose disposal agent working more efficiently.
It's tapering down. Where'd you get your CGM from?
Stello.
Is it like prescriptive or?
Nope, it's over the counter now.
Oh shit!
This one's an over the counter. It's $50. It's $100 for 2 of them, and each one lasts 14 days.
Oh,
so dude, it's $100 awesome. A month. You get to know exactly how your carbs are acting. So this first carb meal was on an empty, and it was 66 carbs. The second meal was 67 carbs, and the third carb meal was 100 carbs. Notice that it's blunter. I didn't even have it with fat or vegetables. That's how much more effective the glucose disposal agents are working now than they were when I first woke up.
What's going to be in your new one?
So normally with mine, I had to take out the cinnamon because people didn't like the grittiness, and then no one wants to be chewing on glass. I mean, sand while they're working out. It's gross. Yeah. So I took the cinnamon out, but that's something that I would normally want in there. It's Vandal sulfate, chromium, RALA, and of course isoleucine because there's EAAs in it. But I also put Hydromax brand glycerol in there, and then it's got 20 grams of HCBDs, and which is more than anyone else is using in their Intra.
Yeah.
And then it's 10 grams of EAAs. But I made sure it's got 3 grams of leucine. A lot of them, they just pile in the BCAAs, and there's trace amounts of the other ones. I spread that shit out so that it's more effective.
So would you be concerned with because I'm like, my clients would tell anyone I'm a big fan of like pre-workout insulin. Would you be worried that would cause a big fucking issue with, let's say I have someone take insulin 15 minutes before a lift, pound some glucose, train, sip on glucose? Do you think that would cause, problematic issues?
Well, the whole point you're taking of the insulin is to drive up GLUT4 transporter, right? So those glucose disposal agents increase GLUT4 transporter. So they're doing what you want the insulin to do. They're making you more insulin sensitive. So it's not, that's the point of a GDA. So it's like, because it doesn't mean you can't use insulin. It just means you should use less insulin. So 5 units might be too much, 3 might be more appropriate.
I see.
Plus I have it set up so that every scoop is 50 kilograms per hour. So in you, who's 250, it'd be 2.5 scoops every hour. So if you're doing a 2-hour workout, it'd be 5 scoops.
Okay, so how do you denote? I'm curious now. How do you denote that calculation? Is that based on average rates of glycogen expenditure per hour of exercise, or what is, or like, is that just resting? What
kind of just based on the EAAs and carbs per hour, and how much water you're supposed to have per hour, and how much salt you're supposed to have per hour.
Oh,
so per 100 kilograms per hour, it's supposed to be 300 milligrams of sodium, 20 grams of carbohydrates. I think it's 20 to 30 ounces of water, and about 10 of EAAs. I also put in a little bit of creatine and a little bit of taurine to prevent cramping. And in case they don't use my pre-workout, of course, I assume they're going to use my pre-workout. The pre-workout has other ingredients that are supposed to kick in while you're working out. But I don't put nitric oxide in the intra-workout. I put glutamine in the intra-workout. And you can't mix the arginine and glutamine because they compete for absorption.
Yeah. Huh. That's awesome, dude. I love that idea. So is because like typically how it works in a product is like they'll say it's like 25 grams of highly branched cyclic dextrin, but it'll be 2 scoops. That will be 25 grams. Is yours 1 scoop has 20?
It's 1 scoop has 10.
Okay. So it is split into, so 1 serving would be 2 scoops.
For 100 kilogram man, yeah.
How much ounces of water do you would you
so
mix
you
it with?
always so with HCBD you can do less water. That's what makes it so special. But I still wrote the directions for the normal 8% solute, 92% solvent ratio. So you don't get osmotic drag pulling water into the intestines. You want the body to pull the carbohydrate out of the intestines into the bloodstream. So you don't have to do as much as I say, but for 48 grams of solute, it's about 590 grams of solvent. So it's almost exactly 20 ounces of fluid per 2 scoops, which means 10 ounces of fluid per scoop. So that's why I always tell people to get the big shaker cup.
Yeah.
This is 40 ounces. So I can put 4 scoops in this and 40 ounces of water, and this will last the whole 2-hour workout. What a lot of people do is they'll put a lot of scoops into a smaller shaker cup, and then they just get diarrhea because it pulls water to the intestines.
I see.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I love that, dude. That's a great, it's amazing, to be honest. I think that's, it's unique, and you do that work too. And I don't think a lot of people do that with I think that's so important, because what I have clients do is I get them the raw, not the raw, but like the specific ingredients, mix it all together themselves. Yeah. And just to have it all in one spot and then have it like on instructions, like how much water they need to use. I think that's brilliant.
Right. And what happens is when you make it yourself, it's not milled right. So they clump. and then you don't absorb them correctly. Because what they don't understand is the way that the ACBD works is it almost forms like a bear trap around smaller molecules and can transport the smaller molecule into your bloodstream faster than if you just use glucose molecules.
Yeah.
So that pulls water into the intestines. So you end up clearing it, it gets to your colon, and the bacteria eat it, then you get gas and diarrhea. Whereas if you use the higher quality carb, you can use less water, absorb it faster. And absorbing fast is important because if you don't absorb it, you don't actually get the performance benefits from it.
Interesting.
You actually get the opposite. Blood's going into your intestines, not into your muscle.
And it creates a less it creates less surface area in the molecule essentially too, so there's not as much. I think
it makes the clump less dense because the molecules are bigger and they've got the side chains that prevent them from stacking well. Kind of like how oil is unsaturated versus saturated is solid. Oil is liquid at room temperature, whereas margarine or butter is solid at room temperature.
Solid.
Because saturated fats stack, and unsaturated fats don't stack because they're squiggly shaped, so they actually are further apart. So since there's less density, they're liquid at room temperature, not solid at room temperature.
Just a little bit of chemistry today.
So in other words, rather than having clumps like dextrose would, forming like Skittle-sized candy clumps surrounded by water, it's more like a gel. Probably like why Gatorade had that gel for a while.
I see. Okay. That's fascinating, man. I fucking love that. Okay, so I got 2 more questions and I have to bounce, but we got a lot, dude. So does getting vitamin K blood test actually reflect K2 levels? Because I got my levels checked and it says I was high, but I don't think I get much or any K2 in my diet.
So K2, whole eggs. That'll knock it out. I think 2 whole eggs a day is usually what I have almost everyone do, even women.
Yeah,
that's
funny. We do the same thing.
I actually did a video about the tier list for protein, and I had whole eggs as like a D tier, and I had egg whites as an E tier. But if you mix whole eggs and egg whites, it brings it all the way up to A tier.
Yeah.
Because the ratio of fat to protein is shit as a protein source, not as a food tier, but as a protein tier.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, your camera died.
That's how long we've been on.
So Ronald, while he's fixing his camera, there we go. I would say just like the 2 yolks are going to have enough cholesterol for your normal testosterone synthesis, enough K2, and then they got other bullshit in there like lecithin, I think, and vitamin D3. 2 yolks for an adult man is pretty much all you need for most of your fat-soluble vitamins for the day, and the fats there that you need to absorb it. I also usually have people mix in the spinach and maybe carrots with that meal so that you get your vitamin A and K1 absorbed at the same time as the K2 and the D.
Shoko asks, how do you fix delayed orgasms on TRT or other gear? Since starting tests, it's much harder to finish. Usually could be relevant to hyperlactin.
No. I think it's a decrease in serotonin or something. Or it's too much serotonin. Your microphone's off.
Oh. Why not prolactin?
Because prolactin prevents you from having erections, right? So the way that the Phil's family works is they're phosphodiesterase inhibitors, right? Prolactin upregulates the phosphodiesterase. So prolactin is the opposite of the Phil's. That's why I always tell people, it's like you don't have to worry about taking Brami or Prami or whatever. Just take Viagra and it'll cancel it out. As far as not finishing, that usually has to do with neurochemistry. Like dopamine is a dopamine antagonist. Yeah. That's an antidepressant, I think, or dopamine reuptake inhibitor, or it's norepinephrine.
And it's an SNRI.
SNRI, right? So that is going to prevent finishing, which wouldn't. Yeah, so I don't really get why that is, because normally it's the sympathetic nervous system that causes ejaculation, but Usually that's not a problem unless the girl complains, like, hey, can you hurry up?
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Right.
I have seen people taking like Tren experience in orgasmia, but I've never. Usually, like almost always, it's the other way around.
It's just whatever. You'll be ready to have sex again in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just switch to eating her pussy. And then once you get hard again or get ready for it again, you can switch back. You just got to make it look like it's your idea.
What else do we got here?
It's like this type of shit. Like it seems like it's stuff that I didn't know either dudes don't know, but I am older, so I've been doing this longer. So I actually have figured some of this shit out. How do you counteract the sexual side effects of SSRIs? It's the same thing. It's just like if you feel like you're totally not going to come in that position, switch positions. Or if you need to take the opportunity to get a break and switch to eating her out. And then go back.
That's always a good idea too. Again. Yeah. Take a chill pill and then like your heart rate cool down. And then,
because you can drag that shit out for a couple hours. It's just as long as you don't pound the shit out of their pussy for a couple hours, because after a while it's going to be sore. And if they have a terminal orgasm, they're not going to want to keep fucking. So you can make sure they have cluster orgasms. But in between the clusters, lay off, so that you don't push them over the edge and give them the terminal orgasm. So you drag it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they might complain like, oh, when we fuck for too long. We could just fuck for 7 minutes. Blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, then you fuck them until they come, and then you're like, all right, like, did you finish? You're like, no. And then like, why? It's like because you wanted to rush through it, so I got you off. I don't need to come. And then they're going to get all butt sore. It's like, I'm not pretty enough for you. Or if they're real bitch, they'll call you gay. But that's okay, because in the end, the reason why they're doing it is they feel inadequate because every other dude came too quickly, but you're able to make them come and not you, which gives you sexual power. So they're trying to castrate you emotionally because they don't want you to have the sexual power. No, don't do what Elliot says because it'll back. Yes, what Twisted Titanium said. If you don't come, it makes them think they're not good enough for you, which is fine. Let them think that. Just reassure them they are. They don't ever try. They're never going to try. They will never try. They don't try. What are you talking about? When has a girl ever tried? They've literally just laid there their whole life, and the dude just they have no skills. They have no ability to get a guy off. When did you want a girl to try? Come on, man.
We keep getting these kind of questions, dude. It's crazy. How did getting jacked affect your guys' success with women, physically and personality-wise?
Bell curve. You get hotter, nodder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think it really makes as much of an impact as people think until there's like, if you're lean, if you're shredded, like most guys want to be, not attractive. But if you're in that nice medium where you have maybe 10% body fat, 11, 12% body fat, that's where you start getting really attractive. I think women generally appeal, while they might not say it, they do appeal more to bigger and more jacked men more times than not. In a group of people, they will typically appeal to that.
Women will want to have sex with the leader of the community, which is designated by size. Size can be height or muscle mass, but they only think it's height. They always say, how tall is he? They never ask, what's his BMI?
True.
But really what it comes down to is how big are you? Not the height is a proxy for size, because they're just don't try to understand it. It's I could explain it would take hours to explain how their brains work, but it's just the bottom line is the bigger you get to a point, and then the six pack they'll deny that it makes them aroused. It does, but it makes them feel more insecure than aroused, because if you're shredded, it makes them feel fat, and everything is all about them. The entire universe revolves around them. So the bigger you are, the smaller they feel. The leaner you are, the fatter they feel. So if you're huge with a beard and you have a dad bod, then you make them feel good about themselves. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be more sexually attracted to you. If you're shredded as fuck, they might feel insecure about having sex with you, but they'll come as soon as you put it in because they're already halfway there, just when you take your clothes off. So they will give you verbal negative feedback, but their pussy tells a different tale.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, I mean it's true. Like if you look at every single advertisement ever, it's all lean men and not fat men. Yet women have like plus size models. That's not a male equivalent. There's nothing like that.
No, but companies have figured out that isn't. You're trying to market men with ugly chicks. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they're these stupid bitches that get out of high school that are college and they got some feminist degree in marketing or whatever, and then when they actually go to the workforce, other women hire them, but eventually the bottom line goes down like Disney stock, and then the dudes who are actually the board of directors are like, what the fuck is this shit? And then they're like, why is there a trans woman on Budweiser beer? And then they're like, well, because it's woke. It's like, I don't give a fuck what it is. You bitches are so stupid and young, you don't realize this shit's cyclical. Your little party is only going to be in charge for so long, then it's going to go back to the way things were. Bell bottoms were popular in the 70s. Then it was skinny jeans in the 80s. Then it was baggy jeans in the 90s. Then in the 2000s, it was these huge Janko pants that you basically could fit a whole family of homeless people in. It looked like FEMA designed the pants to be a tent. Then it was skinny jeans again. As shit goes in circles. If you were live longer, you'd see that. So just sell the beer to the dudes in the plaid and shut the fuck up. And that's basically the same thing. As like girls' opinions don't fucking matter. Their vaginas have their own agendas, and they've had them for 10,000 years. They're not going to fucking change. They're going to pick the Mike Van Wicks, not the Jeff Nippards, because Mike Van Wyck can just pick up and choke slam Jeff Nippard. So Jeff Nippard's not going to be able to protect their kids from a Mike Van Wyck. But a Mike Van Wyck will be able to protect their kids from another Mike Van Wyck long enough for her and her kids to get away. And then get a third Mike Van Wyck to protect them.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, this turned into something so different, and I loved it, man. This
You never know where I'm gonna go. It's like Paul said, just turn the, oh shit, there's a woman in here, and she likes it. I never thought that you'd have a female audience. Fuck. Oh well, at least she agrees indirectly because she thinks it's funny.
Todd gets nervous.
It's not like your cousin or your aunt or something, is it? All right, I can't, lady. I'm not calling you old. I'm blind. I can't see. I just see hair.
That's so funny.
In your name.
Oh my god!
My daughter.
Oof. I mean,
no, that's actually what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is they're all like 3s and 4s, and they're looking for 10s. So there's a line of girls in line to fuck the same dude, basically Kolton, 6'3", handsome and rich, and then the rest of the human race is just supposed to go play Space Marines 2 or Baldur's Gate. Because, and then they complain that we're playing video games. It's like, bitch, you're standing in line to fuck the same dude as the other 100 girls. What are we going to do? Stand in line to get your sloppy seconds? Fuck that shit. We'll play video games, and then the pendulum will swing the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, guys. All right, I have to leave, Todd.
It's not top 10% anymore. It's not. No, it used to be top 10%. It's like top 0.1%.
Right.
Because if you do the math, 1 out of 6 dudes is over 6 feet tall. 1 out of 7 dudes is a millionaire, which means
right. And I love women are like, oh, I need someone at least making $300K a year. Where? You know how many people actually make that much?
They have not
concept. Many. Most family, literally family system doesn't make that much, bro.
They have no concept of reality. So they want a dude who's over 6 feet tall and makes 100,000. That's 1 in 42 men. That means that's 2.5% of the population. Now they want a guy with a 6-inch dick. That's 20% of the population. So now it's 1 in 210 men. Then they want to do with a 6-pack. That's 1 in 100 dudes. So what is that? That's 1 in 20,000 men. Only 1 in 20,000 men has 6 feet tall, has 6-figure income, 6-inch dick, and has a 6-pack abs. That's 1 in 20,000 men. That means if they were to live 5 or 6 lifetimes, they would meet that many men. One of them would fit that category.
Yeah. That's you found it. That's
easy. That's easy. That you just find someone and throw them down a flight of stairs, and when they scream, you laugh. So then it's easy to make men find men that make you laugh.
Oh my god. This is fucking great, man. I love this. How many metric Mike Van Wicks? Yeah. Oh fuck. Todd, I have to go, man. I have dinner. I have to go, okay?
Oh shit, you have a girlfriend right now, don't you?
I sure do.
Can you hear me? Are you
No,
gonna get in trouble for this?
not.
Are you gonna get
No,
beaten
no.
for this?
No.
All right.
She could barely understand it.
I always gotta be
anyways, so-
careful when I talk to my friends. I'm afraid their wives are listening. You're gonna beat them for what I say.
No. No, you're good, man. I love you, Todd. Thanks for coming on tonight. I
Love you too,
appreciate
man.
it so much. Yeah. Thank you, everyone else, for being here. Hopefully, we'll catch you on next week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.